Well, the elections are telling us, to quote from the 1976 movie Network, that the average person in Europe is, quote, as mad and won't take it anymore. It is an incredible anti-incumbency vote. It is also people voting for fringe parties that don't really have a forward-looking agenda. So there is political uncertainty. That's the bad news. The good news is that the markets are reacting in a very mature fashion. They are differentiating. So you see Greece down almost 7%, but you see France saying, wait a minute, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. So the good news is that markets are differentiating. The bad news is that we have a lot of political uncertainty ahead of us still.
All right. So in terms of sovereign debt, where do you see this going? Are either of these countries in a substantially better or worse position? Because ultimately, what the politicians say they are going to do and what they can afford to do. Again, France has got greater stability, but in Greece's position, this is a major problem for them.
Right, and you see it in the bond market. So if you look at Greek bonds, they've been hit this morning, even though Greece has already rescheduled its debt once. So people think that the credit risk in Greece has gone up because it's not clear that whatever government comes out, and there's a question mark as to what government will come out, but it's not clear that whatever government comes out will stick to the agreements that were reached by the previous government. Look at Italy, Spain, somewhat under pressure, but not enormously. France doing okay because people are giving President Hollande the benefit of the doubt, as they should. There's going to be a lot of interest as to how he interacts with Mrs. Merkel. Remember, the French-German axis is key for the strength of Europe. And there'll also be a lot of interest as to how he positions himself for the parliamentary election. So this is a process that people are going to look at very carefully, and there's still quite a few acts in this play.
Mohammed, hi, it's Andrew Stevens in Hong Kong. Just on that point, a broad question. Do you think with the victory of Hollande that Europe is better placed now or worse placed now as far as the recovery path is concerned, or you just cannot judge this at this stage?
So if I was looking only at the election of Hollande, I would tell you that you cannot judge as yet. It can tip in either way. I'm much more worried by what happened in Greece. I'm worried by what happened in Germany. The regional elections did not go the way that the ruling coalition would have liked it to go. And we have a referendum coming up in Ireland. So France on its own remains to be seen. But I think risk as a whole has gone up because the minute you talk about Greece, you're not just talking about default risk, but you're talking about exit risk, the possibility of a country exiting the eurozone. And that takes you to a completely different paradigm.
Walk us through that paradigm. If we start seeing Greece exit or other countries exit, allowing them to lower their currencies and become more competitive, what does that mean in the bond and debt world?
So this is where the difference between what's likely to happen and what should happen is really important. Remember, the eurozone was constructed in a way where there was no possibility of exit. So if a country ends up by exiting either voluntarily or because it's encouraged to exit, you can expect some major damage. That's the reality. We have no easy way to allow for an exit of a country, even if it's justified on the basis of the facts on the ground. And there are many who will tell you that Greece will be better off regaining policy flexibility outside the eurozone than it is inside. This notion of Greece taking a sabbatical to get its act together and then come back later on stronger if possible. So it's going to be messy. It's one of these situations where the journey is really bumpy, whatever the destination is for the eurozone.